Hello and welcome to today's video. So this time we're going to be taking a look through my recent pickups through the month of July and early August 2022. So this month round I've got about 50 or so vintage Penguin paperbacks from the 40s to the 60s. Nice little batch of those predominantly to go through and clean up today. I've also got a pile of nice hardbacks, and I've got a little selection of brand new paperbacks from reprint publisher Stark House, as well as keeping you up to date on what's been happening on the channel. So without further ado, sit back, relax, and let's get to it. So we'll start out with Stark House Press here. Now these are four from them. These are Black Gat books, and these are Jazz Age Noir classics. And on the channel I did recently review a few books by them. A great book on Sherlock Holmes by Gary Levisi, and a couple of other of their double titles. So we'll start off with these. These are Black Gats, and they are just really nice sort of 40s and 50s feel paperbacks. Beautiful painted jackets here. This is William O'Farrell. This is number 33 in the series. Repeat Performance, New York Nightmare, Fast, Alcoholic, Neurotic, Kirkus Review. There we are, look at this. Repeat Performance. Looks good stuff. I've not had a chance to read these. They've only recently come in. But as I said, Stark House are a fantastic reprint publisher, very similar to Hard Case Crime. But they publish quite a bit more than them, and they've got a really great website which lists all their recent releases, and I would very much suggest you go and have a look. This is another one that's been recommended, number 36 here. Back Country, William Fuller. Really great, provocative cover on that one as well. Introduction by Bill Prozini and that one. And then we've got these. Now this is a fairly new imprint, Jazz Age Noir Classics, and this is number 1 in the series. Bodies of Dust. So these are very, very early titles, not your usual sort of thing. It says first publication over 60 years. P.J. Wolfson. Staccato Crime, an imprint of Stark House. Here we are. Got some good recommendations there on the back. And these are $12.99. They're obviously all available in the UK from Amazon as well, should you wish to buy them over here. And direct from the Stark House website. This has got the foreword here as well, by Jeff Vor Zimmer. There we are, there's the first 4 from Staccato. And we got this one here. This one's got an introduction by Gary Levisi. If you've not already checked out Gary's channel, he's got a great one here on YouTube. Just look up Gary Levisi, you'll find him. Lots of vintage paperbacks. Gary's an absolute expert in the field, and his own collection is truly something. So yes, I shall look forward to having a look at both of these, because it was something really interesting, really early sort of crime titles. So thanks to Stark House Press for sending those ones over, the latest editions. And as I said, I have reviewed some of their more recent publications in a separate video, which is worth a little look. Okay then, so let's crack on with the hardback. So I've got 3 from SF author Christopher Priest. I don't know if you've ever heard of Christopher Priest, but he's an author I've been sort of slowly getting into. A little bit of an influence coming from my friend Steve, the outlaw bookseller. He's a real Christopher Priest fan. He actually knows the author very well. He's done numerous events with him over the years, and this lot of 3 hardbacks turned up, well, incredibly cheap really. They were just $9.99 for the 3, and there's 3 first editions. We got A Dream of Wessex, The Affirmation, and I got one more here which is slightly larger in size. It's this one, the Quiet Woman. So what we'll do, these don't need much of a clean, because as you can see they're in great shape, but what we'll do, we'll take off the jackets on these, and I'll give the actual books a clean, and then we'll give the jackets like a secondary clean, because you can see just in the bottom there, there's like a slight sort of rubbing along there, and if I give my polish a little bit of a buffing just around the edges there, I think that should come up absolutely lovely, and then it will be ready to sort of put into some plastic wrap, which I will do in a future video. But this one's just got a little bit of dust along the top here, so we're just going to give it a quick flick through a couple of times. published by Faber and Faber. There's a beautiful pan edition of this as well with a cracking cover on it. But this was the very first, 1977. And amazingly, I got all 3 of these first editions off eBay for £9.99 for the 3, plus like about £3.40 postage. Don't think I did too badly there. Now, because this is hardback, I'm just getting the toothbrush into the top edge here, rather than my big like shoe brush, which I do when I've got like a hand of paperbacks. It's been a while since I've had any hardbacks, in all honesty. I've just been getting quite a bit in the way of paperbacks with Hey on Why and what have you. There we are, that's got the little bits out of there. I will do a, just in case there's any along here. It's the faintest hint of spine roll, but not much. And there was some dirt on the bottom edge here, and that's literally just vanished away. So that's fantastic. Now, with regards to the dust wrapper, I'm just going to lay it out flat. It's predominantly sort of along that edge there. You can just see it, but that bit is not laminated, so I'm going to have to be really careful. I don't want to damage it at all. But sort of along there, you can sort of see a little bit of dust and dirt. It's very, very minor, but I think it does warrant doing. I think we also need to give ourselves a tiny bit more room. So let me just quickly readjust the camera. There we are. Hopefully that's got the majority of it in now. And I'm going to get a clean bit of cloth and get that corner of the cloth damp, like so, because it is just a very small, it's just this end bit here more than anything, which is picked up some dust and dirt over the years. There we are. So it's virtually come off that edge, but there's still a little bit on the edge of the dust wrapper there, and it's virtually got it off. That's not bad at all. And I'll just do it on the edge of the spine here. I'm being very, very gentle. And it's sort of a similar situation along here. Ever so slight. It's just along the edges where it's managed to pick up a tiny bit of dust and dirt. Nothing too much to worry about. Yeah, that's coming out really nice actually. Just wiping it one way so it doesn't crease the jacket. I think that's about as good as we're going to get. There was no obvious marks on the front. Looking at it sort of in the light here. No, I think that's absolutely fine. So all that's left to do on this one now is to get it in some nice archival mylar. Get the jacket, re-jacketed in that, so it gives it an additional level of protection. And that will look very, very nice indeed on the shelf. It's an interesting jacket. It's nowhere near as good as the Pan first edition, Pan Sci-Fi Classic first edition of that one, which is absolutely fantastic. Now this one is similar format. It's Faber and Faber again. So let's just check the book itself first of all. It's okay. It's obviously had a ding at some point, which is a bit of a shame, but it's okay. Now I'll get the toothbrush in the top here. It's always around there. That's the bit where it picks it up. But this one wasn't actually as dusty as the other one. There we go. A little bit of dust in the rail there. There we go, there's his first few books there. Indoctrinaire, that's a good one. Also quite expensive as well. I think it's his first, that was his first novel. This is 1981, 41 years old. Nice copy of that one. Let's see how the dust wrapper holds up. It's going to be a similar sort of situation, I believe. Oh, look at this. Look, it's got 2 dust wrappers on. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Different price. So the top wrapper's got $6.95. The bottom one's got $6.25. Look at that. So it's double wrappered. Wow, would you believe it? I wonder if there was a mistake on it or something like that. But, well, I'm going to have to fire that over to Steve, the Outlaw bookseller, and see what he says about it. Now, that one there has actually got some creasing on it, so possibly this later one, that the one underneath is mint. So, well, how interesting. Yeah, this outer one's obviously got a little bit of wear on it, so I think what I'll do, I'll give the outer wrapper here just a bit of a cursory polish, and then, but when I come to put it on the shelf, I'm going to put the one underneath on, because that appears to be the better condition one by a long, long way. But I'll just give this one a little cursory clean. Just got a few like fingerprint marks on the back here, which will very, very easily come up. Which it's doing right now. Wow, would you believe it? How amazing. Yes, I shall ask Christopher Priest expert Steve about that and say, well, I've got a copy and it's double wrappered. There we are. There we are. Very, very minor sort of fingerprint marks on that one, but I'll pop it back in for now. But I think when I get round to popping it in a plastic sleeve, I'll use the wrapper that's underneath, because that's even better than this one, you know. This one can just almost like stay on as a placeholder for the time being. Now I've got one more from this author, which is this one, The Quiet Woman. This one's changed to Bloomsbury now. It's in the bigger format, $13.99. As I said, they came in a job lot. They were just $9.99 for all 3, so I do count myself incredibly lucky. This is typical Bloomsbury. It's a bit more of a lavish publication. I like Bloomsbury as a publisher. They're all right. So let's see when this one dates from. 1990. So yeah, by far the most up-to-date one we've got here. Little tassel bookmark in it. That's nice as well. So the book itself looks absolutely minters, but we will just give it that gentle fit there. It's nice on the front. They've got the CP there. That's really good, isn't it? If you're an author, you must love it when your books get treated in this way, you know. Let's get the tiniest little mark at the bottom there. Let's see it come off with my finger. Now the wrapper, I think it's going to be the same sort of thing. It's just a little bit, just to run my cloth around the edge. I'm not even going to bother putting any more polish on, because it's already sort of there. So it's literally just around the edge here, because it's like yellow, or a very pale yellow. It's the sort of colour that picks up fingerprints really, really easily. But this has been looked after, you can see that. It's come from a collector. In fact, the guy I bought them off, he had lots of similar sorts of books, and I could have gone crazy, to be honest. He had so many cool books, but I just don't have room really for lots and lots of hardbacks, as much as I'd love to pick pick some of them out. I am very much a paperback guy, but I thought, well, these are at £9.99, was a very cheap starting price, and in the end I was the only bidder, so I was very, very pleased indeed. There we are. Excellent. So I have got one more hardback book to show you, which I shall get out right now. Well, I tell a lie, I actually had two hardbacks to show you. This one is the next one, or the one I've been after this one for about a year, and it's just very, very difficult to find in nice condition. So what I've ended up doing, I've bought a copy which is in fairly low grade, but it is a first edition, and I've decided I'm going to pick up a facsimile dust wrapper for this one from America. There's a company in San Francisco that I use that do facsimile wrappers, and they're very, very good. I've used them before. I've got 3 or 4 books ready, which I've got in first edition, which are just waiting for facsimile wrappers, and I checked, and they do for kicks, so I shall grab one of that. I have got a very nice run of Dick Francis, and they're all right back to the first book, and they're all nice editions. They've all been signed as well, or they've got a signature laid into it, or a signed photo, that sort of thing. So this one hasn't been signed, but it is at least the first edition, so it's also quite tatty, but the price I paid compared to what they're selling for in really nice condition, this book goes for £200 to £300 in top shape, and that's more than I wanted to pay for this one. It seems some of the mid-60s Dick Francis are quite difficult to find, and I would like to get the full run eventually, but I'm trying to get them in order. So this was the next one on the hit list. I have actually got the next couple after this already, and they are nice signed ones, but that was over a year ago that I got those. This was pretty much borderline condition wise, but it was good enough. It was good enough because I'd waited too long for a decent one to turn up, and as I said, once this has been sort of cleaned, it's not awful by any means. Got that sticker inside there, I can't do a lot about that. I will get a signed photo of Francis to put inside this one. As I said, every first edition I've got is either signed, flat signed, or it's got a signed photograph or something like that inside, and they're fairly easy. Dick Francis was a very, very prolific signer. He used to come down to Torquay, and I went up with my friend who took a whole bag up to his hotel, and we got Dick Francis to sign it. He also used to do bookshop tours every single year, so there's lots of his books out there that are signed, so he's not a difficult person to get signed, but this one sadly isn't. I have seen a signed one of this for £500, which was once again ridiculous money, I feel. So it's quite supple. It's got a little bit of fox in here for 4th book, so it is a tougher one to find. 1960, and as I said, it's taken me ages to get one, and I've got the next 3 after this now, but this was a toughie. Now it's got the page edge browning, but apart from that, it's a fairly tight copy. I'm slightly and ahhing whether I should just do a little bit of rubbing along that. There's just a couple of bits which are sort of letting it down a little bit. It's not bad though, in all honesty, considering what it goes for and what I paid. I got this one for £40, which I didn't think was that bad considering what the other ones have been going for. I am quite pleased with that one. As I said, the jacket, the replacement jacket, is going to be another 15 on top, there or thereabouts. But it's money well spent because it will look lovely on the shelf. I'm just and ahhing about whether to put my rubber along the edge of that, or if not to bother, because it's got a few, I don't know if you can see, but it's got a few where it's been banged. There's a few like little marks on it. I'm not sure if the rubber is going to do much to it, to the page block. I think for the time being, and for the sake of this video, I'm going to leave it, but it might be something I go back to. We'll have a look at the wrapper such as it is. So it's in a board art Brodart rather, protective thing, and it is, you can sort of see it's been backed with greens. You can sort of see around there where it's actually missing. So if this was wrapped around the book, it would look a lot worse than it actually does. So I'm just going to leave it like that. There's no point taking it off. I will obviously keep the original dust wrapper with it, but what I will do when I get my replacement is put that one around the book when it's on the shelf. I do have a little box of original dust wrappers, lots of paperback ones in there, and they're just laid flat with a weight on to keep them flat. And when I eventually get rid of the books, I always go through them to make sure the correct original wrappers are with them. So I will keep that. It's not bad, and it could go on the shelf just like that, but I'd rather have a much better reproduction one. Now the other hardback I got, this was very, very cheap and cheerful. This is about £4, which is good. The price was right. The Best of O. Henry. Now I bought it in a wrapper, even though I'm not looking to have these. I wasn't too fussed about having it in a wrapper. You can see some of the other books in the series there. This is a great, great series for very little money. And you know, if you've been watching the channel, you know in the past I do love a good omnibus edition. Well, this is very much in that vein. Absolutely fantastic. So O. Henry is probably an author that, well, you're probably not that familiar with him, to be honest, but basically he was the master of the short story, and he wrote about 250 absolute classics short stories, some of which were taken up by people like later on by like the Alfred Hitchcock TV show, the anthology Twilight Zone, things like that, you know. But he would knock out one of these short stories once a week. He was an interesting chap, and he worked in like the financial sector before he became a writer. Embezzled a bit of money and basically got sentenced to 7 years in prison. Rather than serve his time, he fled. I think it was to somewhere like, I don't know, Canada, and eventually decided to come back and face the music, which he did. He then started writing in prison and became like a best-selling author within his own lifetime. But as you can see, this is a huge whole book. There's a real series of these to get. I think I counted, there's about 20 in the series to get. I've got a bibliography that I've started, so if anyone's interested in that, just let me know. But these books generally can be picked up between £5 and £20, even for the rarest ones. There's like 2 saint ones by Leslie Charteris, where they pull a load of saint stories together. Those ones go for about £20. They're really nice with the saint emblem in the middle there, the Simon Templar emblem, which is really nice. This one's great. It's a lovely cloth bound, and you know I love my cloth bounds. And because this has been in a wrapper, it's in better than usual condition, because when you see these for sale online, they do tend to be a little bit worn. So I'm going to keep the wrapper, but once again I'm just going to put it in my box of wrappers. It's going to be on the shelf like that. Now the other reason I picked this one up is because I'm looking for some short stories that I can do like little audiobooks of and put them on the channel. And there's one particular one by O. Henry, which is, it's quite a famous one, but basically it revolves around a guy who's a safe cracker. He's a thief, and he can break into almost any safe, and basically he's looking to rob this bank, and a little girl runs into one of these safes, and the door, she gets locked inside. So unless they can get her out of this safe, she's going to run out of oxygen and die. And the guy, although he's a master criminal, he does have a conscience, and he realizes that he needs to save this little girl so that she can live. But by saving her, he reveals that he's a master criminal and safecracker. So the game is up, basically. But in the best sort of short story tradition, most of his stories have got happy endings, you'll be pleased to hear. He does release the girl, and the bank sort of turn a blind eye because he's done the right thing, basically. But that is the short story that's coming. They're only going to be about 10-15 minutes, and I shall enjoy sort of doing a little audiobook of that one. Now, this is in great condition. As you can see, it's just got the dust along the top here, which even that wasn't too bad considering its age. So these books came out initially in the 1920s, and some of them got reprinted right up to the start of the war. So this is just a later reprint. They are around in first edition, and the firsts can obviously be quite expensive if that's what you really want. But I've got this very much for the content. If you fancy O. Henry, all the books are available on like Project Gutenberg, all out of print, and they're not in copyright, so anyone can produce an edition of these O. Henry stories. But as I said, he's pretty much an obscure name now. You wouldn't think of it. And I have to admit, I first found out about him on Sean Stanfast's channel, and because he did a video on like top short story writers, and this was in Sean's top 10. And it certainly made me, because I love a short story, it certainly made me think, oh, I've never tried that author. So, well, here we are. Now I might, because the top is quite a bit dusty, I'm going to put the old shoe brush on it just to give it a bit extra. The books are quite robust. They're very, very well made, so it's not going to make much difference. Yeah, I think that's lightened it up a little bit. But as I said, yeah, when I get some time, I'm going to do that one story that I just relayed to you, and I think it'll be quite a fun one. The wrapper, I can't do much about this. It's literally fallen to bits, but it is there. It is just about in one piece. Someone's already repaired it in antiquity. They've put like a reinforcement on the spine there, but that wasn't me. But it has managed to keep the book together. And as I said, once this goes into my collection, I'll take this wrapper off and I'll just have it on the shelf as normal. And I'll put the wrapper in my Just Wrapper box. But there we are. So anyway, that's all the hardbacks that we're going to see today. The next thing I've got, and the rest of this video, in actual fact, we're going to be cleaning up a run of Penguin books, some of which I got off a dealer in one bulk, and some I picked up out in the wild. So we'll be having a look through those right now. Okay then, so quite a batch of these penguins that we're going to see today I got from a penguin specialist dealer, Andrew at andpenguins.co.uk, and I'll pop up a bit of his website right now for you to have a look at. So Andrew himself has got a great penguin collection. He collects everything pre number 3000 or thereabouts, similar to what I collect myself, and he's got the luxury of having most of them on display in one incredible wall of vintage penguin loveliness. So I'm very jealous of that, because I would love something similar, and it will come eventually, you know. But these were some doubles that he had, and I sent him up my wants list, and he was able to pick up quite a bit from like the 50s and 60s sort of period that I was after, and a few that I was looking to upgrade that I've already got and he's found better copies of. So all good stuff. So we shall just go through and see what he's got. I don't think they're going to need masses of cleaning, because these have come from a collector, but I am going to still go through the process with them, and I shall brush off any dust along the top and things like that. Also intermixed with some of these is I did take a recent trip to Exeter, and I do regret not filming it, because it wasn't bad for old books. I checked out, there's no dedicated, as far as I could see, second-hand bookshops at all left in Exeter now. They've all shut down, but there are two incredibly good charity shops virtually next door to each other, and I got stuff out of both of those. So next time I go up, I will film it, and we'll see what we can get. But some of the books that you're going to see today came from those charity shops. This is quite nice. Dashiell Hammett, the glass key. And Andrew certainly wasn't expensive, which I was pleased to see. I do like, the books don't have to be mint, particularly if it's ones that I've not got, but I do like a bargain. And if you buy in bulk, generally speaking, most book dealers will give you a little bit of money off, particularly when it's like collector to collector. And Andrew was no different. So that was very, very good. You remember the last big batch of penguins I got was from the Penguin chap, Drew the Penguin chap. So a very similar sort of setup. They both specialise in penguins and nothing else. They don't really do other publishers. But these are all sort of first editions, which is good news. And these are all, in most cases, ones that I didn't have. I was particularly pleased to get this one. This is Frank Herbert, author of June, of course. Dragon in the Sea. It's a nice early Penguin science fiction title, which I didn't have. Interesting jacket design. I wonder who did that one. Oh, it shows a print, Underwater Garden by Paul Klee. Oh, that rings a bell. Name inside there, 1963. That's okay. I think we do need to give these books a tiny bit more room. There we are, let's give them a bit more space to breathe. A Long and Happy Life, Reynolds Price. So, obviously these are all ones that Andrew himself has already got. So, these were ones that he's already improved on in his collection, but they were ones that I didn't have at all. And because the first sort of 1,000 Penguins are pretty much licked now, I have, consciously tried to move on to the later numbers now, because I've sort of not neglected them, but I've not pursued getting them as much as I wish I had. And that's what I'm sort of doing now, trying to get, the second 1,000 and the third 1,000 much more improved. So we'll see how we get on with that. What I am going to be doing, because I've got quite a few Penguins to slide into the main run, is I will be doing a shelving video fairly soon, because I've got quite a bit of new Penguin pickups that need putting into numerical order. So I'm going to have what they used to call in the trade a shunting session. I think I've got one of these in a box set, actually. I'm not 100% sure. But quite a few of these have got little pencil markings in either the original price or what Andrew was charging on his website for them. Get the next little wedge here. Nice batch of crime here, which is always great to see. There's so many that I've not read, and I like to pick up the odd Penguin crime book because it's almost like a guarantee of quality, even if it's not from an author who is, instantly recognisable. But as I said, if you like buying in bulk, Andrew's got some great stuff, so do check his website out. So, what else has been happening on the channel? So it's been fairly, it's been a bit up and down in actual fact, because it's been so hot. Generally, and I'm not the only one to say this, but generally YouTube has been a little bit quieter than usual. And I put this down to people being either too hot to sort of stay inside to be watching videos, and or people sort of taking a break, they're on holiday, or just, not doing their usual sort of routine. But I've picked, as I film this now, which is sort of third week into August, things have started picking up again. So I think it is just a seasonal thing more than anything, but that can be typical of YouTube. It sort of goes up and down a little bit. I've got a live stream which I'm jumping on, which is a Star Wars centric one, and that's going to be I'm filming that next Friday, and I'm also trying to arrange a couple of other bits and pieces as well. I'm also very excited talking Penguin books. I'm a big fan of the Penguin cloth-bound classics, and you may have seen a recent video I popped up, which was like an updated look at my collection of cloth-bound classics. Those are the ones that are designed by Coralie Bickford Smith, and they're absolutely beautiful. I just love them to death. They're really, really nice additions, and Penguin have really hit on an absolute marketing gem. On the 25th of August, they're going to be publishing the first of a range of mini cloth-bound classics. They're going to be coming out 12 at a time, and it's a great little collection of books that they've chosen. I have to say the second batch is probably of more interest to me than the first batch, but there's still some great ones in there. This is a really interesting jacket, isn't it? I love that design. As I film this, literally this morning, I got sent the first batch of 12 from Penguin to review. So I'm going to be doing a I'm going to be doing a dedicated video on those tomorrow, and I shall be putting that video up in actual fact before you get to see this one. So do look out for that one on the channel, and if you fancy them, there'll be full links to the books below. They're $9.99. They're the most exquisitely designed paperback books you've ever hardback books rather that you've ever seen. They're just gorgeous. So do have a look, and I'm sure there'll be a couple there that you might want to buy as gifts for someone, because they make great gifts, and or you might want to put them on a little wants list for Christmas. There will be the second batch of 12 coming out in November, and that does include my favourite so far, which is Conan Doyle's The Blue Carbuncle. Now I wondered what approach Carly would take on that one, and I've just seen the design today, and it's basically of the goose which the carbuncle is hidden inside. I thought it might have been maybe like a bluish design with the carbuncle on the front, but she's gone with a goose motif, and it looks absolutely fantastic. So that one I cannot wait to see, because it's one of my all-time favourite home stories. Absolutely fantastic. Right, I had a little 5p inside. That was pretty good. Always good to get a Simonon that I've not got, and that is sort of typical. Look at this, of the period where they went to the photo jackets, and that's a real good one. That 3 and 6. Yeah, nice to have a Simonon I'd not got. And this, what was this penguin? 1966. Translated by Tony White. With the Simonons, it is always down to who did the translation, which makes, depends on how enjoyable the actual book is, and that was a particularly good one. Now let's have a look at this. This is something a bit more unusual. This is an Insel Bookery. An Insel Bookery, is that how you pronounce it? Number 618. Now, I hardly ever come across these in the wild, and this was one which it wasn't too dear. Like, it was $2.99. This is the series that Alan Lane based the King Penguins on, and you can see the similarity all over it. This is one of the more boring ones because there's no colour plates in, but some of them do have plates. Obviously German language, so my German is rubbish, I'm afraid to say. So I'm not going to be able to get anything out of it for the actual content, but the design of the book is, these were the template for the King Penguins. So when I come across them, which is rare, I've only got about 5 in my collection, including this one, I tend to pick them up. You can actually pick them up for about £2 a pop on eBay if you want to, and some of them are just better than others. So unless you're an expert on the series, you may just want to pick up a few that are really nicely illustrated. This one's like 1955, so this would have been, the King Penguins would have been in full flow, but they started much earlier than that. And if you collect them all, it literally would fill a room, because there's a few thousand of them as far as I know. I have watched a couple of videos on the series on YouTube, but they're foreign language because they're from Germany. The videos tend to be in German, but I've seen some videos where people have looked at the entire, there was one video that showed the entire collection, the full set, and it really was quite something to see. And as I said, if you've got an interest in King Penguins, you'll see the similarities straight away, because they're so well, they were the template for the King Penguins. But I'm by any means no expert, but I do love coming across them, and when I do tend to pick them up. This one has some pencil on the inside, which is a little bit annoying, but it's coming off really easily. There we are. So yeah, it's just a tiny bit more on the next page in a bit, and then it's clear. I don't know what the writing was especially, but I said it's in German, so I'm not an expert. Now, what else has been happening? So I went recently to the West Point Toy Fair, literally last Sunday, and I have put a video up of that, and that was really interesting because it was the summer one. Traditionally, it's usually really badly attended by dealers, but I thought it was pretty good. In fact, for me, having been to all of the West Point toy fairs this year, it was actually my favourite one, with the selection of stuff that was there. There was even some vintage Star Wars, which is, you know, you just don't really see it. And I don't know if that was just a case of a few people started to offload their collections. There is lots of talk of a recession coming up, and I know this is something which is concerning to a lot of collectors at the moment. Are the prices of some of their stuff going to go down in value? And it's an interesting thought, and I think there probably will be. That's a really nice one, that. There probably will be a little bit of, well, how could we describe it? A little bit of the market sort of readjusting itself, as it were. And, you know, these things happen every few years. But I think collectors shouldn't worry, because if you're a collector, and if it's something like Star Wars, you're in it for the long haul. You bought Star Wars collectibles because you love them, then you've got nothing to worry about. If the price goes down a bit, well, so what? It will, in the long run, go back up, and it may mean that, you know, if you've got a little bit of spare money, then you might be able to pick up something for your collection a little bit cheaper than perhaps it once was. That's definitely what I'm looking to do. You know, if the prices do take a little bit of a dip, there's a few bits I'd like to get, but I've been put off lately because the prices just seem more than I ever would want to pay. But if the market does tend to cool off, then all well and good. It means I'll be able to pick up a few bits at a slightly cheaper price, maybe. No guarantees, but, you know, I'm hoping. Interesting one here, Soviet short stories. Little 20p inside. I can only imagine that's what Andrew bought it for at the time. A slightly earlier one now, 1302. And I'm reasonably fussy about books post 1000. I try and keep them in as nice a condition as possible, but it's not always the case. You can't always find them in nice nick, and, you know, I'll always pick them up when I'm out and about looking for new books. Sheila Denley, Sweetly Sings the Donkey. But when you think these books from the 60s now are like 60 years old, trying to find them in really nice nick is going to get harder and harder as time goes on. So that's why I'm a bit overdue, really, in trying to sort of concentrate my efforts in getting some of these now. But it doesn't matter. Now this one is going to benefit from a bit of a, I can see like a little splash of coffee on there, and this is going to benefit from getting my polish on it. So I'll remember that when we get to the polishing stage on this, but that's definitely a bit of wear on it. This one had £5 inside. Well, I didn't pay that for it. Don't know why that would be so expensive. The Wapshot Scandal. The Durrell, the Buffett Beagles, like Gerald Durrell. So over on the other channel, which is like my dedicated book cleaning channel, that one recently hit 1,000 subscribers. So anyone watching this, if you like these sorts of cleaning videos, there's a whole channel devoted to me going back over my collection and giving all my books a clean. It's a big old job, but, you know, I've done about 35 dedicated videos over there now. And the collection's starting to look really, really good. I'm very, very pleased with what's been done so far. The collection has literally never looked so good. These are absolutely fine. And next batch here. Malone Dies, Samuel Beckett. It's got a little bit of toning. This is a bit brittle, this one, but it's all right. So it's got a price on the inside cover, which is always a fiddly place to find a price. Now, something else I have been trying to revive a little bit is posting to Instagram. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, I'm over there on Penguin Book a Day, and it's an account that I'm just trying to get back into, sort of posting some new stuff, and that's exactly what I'm doing at the moment. So if you don't already follow me over there, have a look at Penguin Book a Day. It's my dedicated penguin feed. There's lots of photos from my collection from days past, which I think you'll find interesting if you go back through the old back catalogue. And I'm going to try and post more interesting stuff as we go along as well. So in fact, just like this pile of stuff. New acquisitions. Cool, that's all right. A little bit borderline, that one, condition wise, but we'll sort of let it go. The Good Earth. This was in the States, Pocketbooks #1. The very first ever pocketbook was this title. This one again, just to see if the bottom of the spine, the bottom of the spine has come away there. Yeah, I'm going to get some glue in there. I thought it was bothering me. So let's just get a spot of glue in there, a slither. There we are. That's all we need. That should be enough to squidge that in now. And this one's got a couple of levels to it, so we'll do the first bit initially. There we are. So a little bit of glue's gone all the way underneath there now, like that. And then it's got a second level there. Right. I mean, it's only very much a filler, this one, sadly, but by doing that, it's going to stop the edge getting caught at the bottom of the spine, which could quite easily have happened. There we are, that's a bit better. That's cool. Now, what's this? Nice Pelican, #6, A6. So this is, I think I only need one now below 1,000, and then I've got the one below 100, I should say. Then I'll have the full first run of 100. I have done the first couple of videos on Pelican, and I am due to do another one because it's been quite a while since I did the second sort of 100 Pelicans. So they are very much on the way, but that's nice to have that one. Going to appreciate a good brush off on that in a little while. Brush all these off in due course. It's one of the doctor books. These used to be so plentiful, but have dried up a little bit now. Nice to get this one. That one's nice. And that's a reprint, that one, so I have to make a note of that. I'm going to say that's a really nice copy of that, but it's actually just a reprint, so going to need to make a note of that one. There's some more here. So we got a Penguin Modern Classic. There we are, quite nice Patrick White. It's one I've not got. I'm pleased to get this. Tiny little. There we are. Loving. I'm running out of room here actually. I have to slide these over to there, over to there, over to there. Just about got enough room for one more stack, which is what we've got left. Okay, that's cool. Venetian blind. This is a nice one. So one thing I do like is when people comment on my videos, it's how they personally, what they found in recent months. So do leave a comment if you've had some good finds this month. I would really like to hear about it. If you've been out and about, if you've been on holiday or visiting somewhere a bit new, and you've come across a nice little gem or a book that you've been after for a while, do let me know, because it would be very interesting for other readers as well as myself to see, because I know people do read the comments. So let me know if you've had a bit of luck this summer. I know summer's still going on, but it'll soon be looking at autumn. It'll be here sooner than we can realise. I was pleased to get this one. This is a Penguin handbook that I've not got, and I only pick up selected ones, but I got this one because it's got the cover design by Alan Aldridge. He's a designer I really like. This is quite nice, that front and back. Penguin handbooks is a funny old series to collect. I'm not a mega fan of them, but I wouldn't mind picking up a few more, shall we say, if I could get them at a decent price. I'll try and fill in some of the handbooks that I've not got. I'll get some more here. Another crime one here, Michael Innes. Christmas at Candleshoe. So, obviously, I'd like to mention my Patreon and channel members. I very much appreciate the support that you give me. It's at times when YouTube is a bit quieter and the views are a bit less than they usually are. The channel members really do pick up the slack, and I always appreciate the support that they give me. It's incredible. So if you do like these videos and want to support the channel and keep it healthy, do consider it like a Patreon or a channel member. This one's got a little pound on the back here from the charity shop, so we'll give this one a carefully pull this off. The main benefit is, of course, that you get to see the videos early. So my channel members will get to see this video at least a week before it goes live. I always share my pickups videos in advance. Okay, now that's all right. It's not left any residue. That's good news. This was good to find. Patrick Lee Farmer. I was pleased with this one. This was at £1 again. He's a great author, Patrick Lee Farmer. Really, really great. Had a very interesting life, and comes recommended if you've never read him. And I was glad to get this because it's one that I was really after. And in the end, got it for £1. All for £1. One thing I will be doing is another duplicates, cheap paperbacks for sale video. The last one went down incredibly well. I was a little bit overwhelmed, in actual fact, with the orders coming in so thick and fast, and they went right around the world. So I will be doing that again. And of course, I do offer the books to my patrons and channel members first. So if you do want first pick of the books when they become available, that's where you're going to see it first. Obviously, I'm going to look after my patrons initially. So bear that in mind if you're after anything in particular. Little turned over pages with this one. And there was an interesting booklet inside. What did it say? Eric and Jane Whitehead. That Margaret Whitehead there, 1963. Maybe that was Jane's mother, or Eric's mother, maybe. Interesting, eh? Another one from the charity shop. This is £1.50 it had on this one. It's not bad. So I will be ramping down the Steam Deck coverage now. I've been doing a video every week, but the hype surrounding that particular system has eased off a little bit now as more people are getting their models in the post. So I'm going to go down to just 2 videos a month on the Steam Deck now, or like every other week basically, going forward, because I've covered all the main systems, which was the main point of doing it, and I'm still absolutely loving my Steam Deck. Here's the last little batch of penguins here before we start brushing them down. Telling of Murder. My friend says it's bulletproof. Oh yeah, Penelope Mortimer. I was going to say that's not one I recognise. That's an interesting one from her. A couple of little pencil marks in here. Go. Strike out when not applicable. Yeah, so a good month for vintage penguin. I was pleased with this little lot. And as I said, I'm going to have, in the next couple of days, I'm going to film me doing a shunting session for the whole lot, basically, where they get rejigged in all my new acquisitions once they're on the computer. So I've got them all listed, the ones that I've picked up. Can be filed away into the main collection. I did have all the Ed McBains separate, which I've recently filmed. They need to be put back in, along that with the Simonons and the Graham Greens, where I've done videos, like author-specific ones. So they all need to go back into the main Penguin run, now that they've been filmed separately. A few bent over corners. There we are. Right, last couple here now. Captain Cutthroat, a nice John Dixon car. Quite brittle, so the pages have aged. But with some targeted rubbing, we're in. There we go. And then the last of the recent pickups, this once again, it was at one in a charity shop. Really nice, this, the London Nobody Knows. It was £3.49, which is a bit more than I would like to pay in a charity shop, but look at it, it's an absolute beauty. 1965. Really nice, that was in the Oxfam in Exeter. So it's like a dedicated Oxfam bookshop. It's got loads of stock. Really, really great one. There we are. Excellent. So that's it. So they've all been cleaned. Now the next stage with the penguins, at least, is I'm going to brush the tops wholesale with my shoe brush, and then we'll go through and give some of the covers a quick polishing. So that's what we'll crack on with now. Right then, let's get brushing. And these won't take long because they're not like really dusty or anything. They've come from a dealer, so apart from the few odd ones from the charity shop, so we've not got much to worry about here. It's just almost cursory. Some will need it more than others, of course. This little guiding saw I'll just use with the toothbrush, a bit more delicate for the hardback. Let's slide that over there because I'm not going to be able to do any polishing with that. So that's that pile done. Let's do this pile here now. Okay. 2 piles. Obviously I'm not going to be able to polish all of these, but some of them, the later ones, I will. So I'll go through and sort out what I can and can't run the polish over in a moment. Needs a little bit of glue on that in a sec. Just about the tiniest bit of glue required on the bottom of that spine there. So there we are. Tiny bit at the top actually. Just where the book's been read a few times, it's come a little bit loose, but that's nothing we can't fix. Squidge it in. The 60-year-old glue's just dried out. There we go. There we are. Brilliant. Just stops it getting any worse. Okay then, so last step of the process. I'm just going to go through these books again now and sort them into ones that we can polish safely and ones that we can't. So the more later ones will be okay to do. That one will be all right. There'll just be a few that we're going to need to give a miss to. I don't think we can do that one. That'll be all right. So because these are predominantly 50s and 60s, we're okay on most of those, and they will benefit from having a polish. So those will all be good to go. That one's fine. That's no good. So we can't do those because they're just not shiny enough, you know. The earlier ones are a bit more matte. Same with that, so we can't play around with those without fear of damaging them. Same with that. That one we know is okay, that one we can't. Last little pile here. These are okay. Yeah. 60s ones are all fine. Benefit from a polish. That one won't. Okay, so these ones here, because of their age, they're just not going to be able to be polished at all. So that's okay. I shall not even attempt to put polish near those. But the other ones are going to have polish, but it's only going to be fairly minor. It's not going to be like oodles and oodles of it. But I am going to put a little bit on and give them the once over. Because that is what they need. Some more than others. Some of them are very, very light. Others have got quite heavy damage. So we'll just see what we can see doing these up. Yeah, I was really pleased with that one. It's great. And of course, in a lot of cases, these are second-hand books, so they've been read a few times. In a lot of cases, it's just sort of getting rid of page edge fingerprinting more than anything else. A little bit grubby, this one. And even though they're being polished, it's not going to be like a miracle worker. They're just going to come up gleaming, but it will get quite a bit of the dirt and dust off. That's all we're really going to hope to attain by doing this. and some will be better than others. It's as simple as that. There we are, that's the first big wedge done. It's really, really satisfying to see little marks and things like that come up when you do this process. that one, this actually. Quite dirty. As was this. Let's have that big stain on the front, which is lifted fairly well. Of course, the book having a black jacket doesn't help because it makes it all the more susceptible for any little marks. Well, it didn't get it off completely, but it certainly made it a lot better than what it was. Oh, almost there. Just the one little stack to go. All right, we're almost there. Almost there. So, if you've been with me this long, thanks very much for sitting through all this. I hope you've enjoyed it and found it relaxing and seen a few books that maybe you've not seen before. These are all brand new to my collection, so they're all new to me. I said I like to try and do these sort of cleaning videos once every 4 to 6 weeks if I can, with new pickups. So I have got a little run of the men's adventure title, The Executioner. I got them on their way from the States, which I'm very pleased to get. It was not a full run or anything like that, but it's a series that was created by Don Pendleton in the late 1960s, and I've got a run of about 20 on their way, so I'm going to be cleaning those in a future video, and also I shall be doing a dedicated video on that series. So look out for that. But yeah, if you have enjoyed this video, do please give it that thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed already, well, why not? And if you really like the cleaning sorts of parts of my videos, then, as I said, I've got my own dedicated channel, Unintentional ASMR, Book Cleaning and Repair, which is just a channel of me cleaning books systematically through the collection. And it's I only do one video a week, but I am getting through the collection now, and they're looking so great for having spent the time to go through them properly. You can visibly see the difference, and it's great. Really, really good. Excellent stuff. Yeah, so thank you very much for watching today. I shall be back 3 times a week with a new video on the channel. Sundays, Wednesdays and Fridays, and on the other dedicated channel on a Saturday. So plenty for you to look at, and plenty of back catalogue, so do check out the older videos on the channel. There's loads there to see. But yeah, thank you very much for watching today. I've certainly enjoyed going through these, and I hope you have as well. I shall look forward to seeing you again next week with another video. Bye.